The library space is transformative and intellectually inspiring. When entering a library, one can perceive that everything humankind has published is accessible. Each time a citizen, a student, or a person comes to the library, the message is, all these books and resources are for you. The library offers wealth of information and creativity to multiple and diverse populations. The library can spark more intellectual journeys than students have the time to take. The library is a space for public life, where we express how we live together, where we express our belonging to a community, where we see others on a quest for knowledge, and where we are seen writing, reading, studying. The library is where very personal and solitary activities take place in public. Architecture is, after all, only a form given to ideas, said great theorist and French architect Eugène Emmanuel Viollet-le-Duc. But what are these ideas about when it comes to creating a new library space? There is only one answer: users' needs. It may sound obvious, but for different reasons it is not. First, users are plural. Ideally, you would want to know about library needs for each and every user. Second, it is tempting to prioritize a design or architecture decision that is not necessarily to the benefit of library users. Third, even if you ask 1,000 users of your library about their needs, they will inevitably speak from their personal experiences and from what they know. The suggestions voiced by different users are not necessarily solutions to their needs. It is from users' feedback, your experience of the space, the evolution of libraries in general, and possibilities offered by new technology, products, and material available that allow you to interpret and extrapolate to better meet their needs. In this talk, I will present an interpretation of users' needs and a vision of a next-generation library based on the case of the ongoing renovation of the Webster Library at Concordia University in Montreal, as well as a few more examples. After general considerations, I will present 18 types of study environments that are the main element of a technology program. Finally, I will highlight key aspects to consider from a librarian's perspective in defining the library as a space for public life. How we sit influences how we think and work. The environment we are in affects our state of mind. The quality of the light, the colors, the volumes, the acoustics, and the comfort or discomfort of the furniture are only a few of the means architects and designers have to express the space program and vision of a library. In this whole process, the number of different contributions from multiple disciplines is impressive. Architecture, design, engineering, acoustics, construction workers, and obviously library science. The role of the librarian is to translate into words the user's needs and to develop an overarching vision of the library to communicate to other professionals working on the project. The perception of the library as a community space is often created by the immateriality drawn from the design and architectural choices that were made. If the process is working well, from the idea and vision generated from the user's needs to the writing of the space program, to the drawings and plans prepared by the architects and the actual construction of the space, the end result is the materiality of the original idea. Paraphrasing Viollet-le-Duc, you can say that architecture is an idea. It is often said that the current students, so-called millennials, are multitaskers, that you will often find them working on a paper while listening to music and watching an episode of their favorite show. Even if there may be some truth in this depiction, it does not correspond to what many of my librarian colleagues and I see on a daily basis in our libraries. Students have different needs, beyond their personal preferences, the moment in the semester, the activity they have to perform, as well as if they have to work individually or in a team, will determine their choice for a spot in the library. The grand reading room is still the space that attracts the most students and is the most popular space to study on campus. Working in silence, in a public space, looking at others and being looked at while doing work provides a positive impression of being part of a community and offers encouragement to get things done. A reading room may seem like a very easy space to plan and create. Nevertheless, we all have in mind examples of reading rooms that do not work. The ingredients for success are simple. A large volume of space for at least 70 to 80 people to create a group effect, as well as the space rhythm brought by regular repetitions of tables and chairs in the room. Lots of natural light, or with high-quality artificial light. At each individual seat, user-controlled lighting capacity. The chairs are sturdy and comfortable, as some students are spending up to 6 to 8 hours per day during rush or exam periods. The tables are at the right height and offer enough work surface space for a laptop surrounded by print publications. Excellent Wi-Fi connection is considered a basic requirement. The network has to be able to support up to 3 devices per user in a full room capacity. Electrical outlets ideally for 2 devices per seat. Students express the desire to be surrounded by books, even if today's students are not using the print collections as much as previous generations. They appreciate the atmosphere of serenity in the reading room provided by bookshelving. If you succeed, the result is a naturally silent space without the need to put up big signs, and a sense of encouragement is felt by each visitor to simply sit down and work with others. A space where an impression of harmony, calm, and beauty is experienced. Beyond the general consideration of what a reading room offers, it may contain 4 types of environments. The most traditional one is the individual seat, with lighting control, electricity, and minimal interaction with the person in front of you. The second type offers a seat with a desktop computer with additional electrical outlets. We often suppose students own their computers. Some do, but others simply cannot afford to buy one. It varies according to the socio-demographic characteristics from one university to another, and even among different programs and faculties of the same institution. We also observe that some students who have their own laptops prefer to use the library computers to avoid carrying theirs, as they can be too heavy to carry around during a long day. Others are worried their computers could be stolen or lost. At Concordia, with 432 public workstations and 272 laptops on 6-hour or 3-day loans, for a total of 704 computers and 125 tablets, iPad, the library offers the largest lab on campus. Some students appreciate the privacy that carrels provide. While seated at a carrel, the low or higher partitions allow one to feel isolated visually and audibly to focus on a task. 2 types of study spaces can be offered with the carrels. One with dividers of 6 or 8 inches high, and the other with 14-inch high dividers on the 3 sides of the work surface. The latter one is often preferred by students with attention deficit disorders. The first thing that comes to mind when thinking of the last generation library model is silence. Users were expected to maintain silence everywhere in the library. The next generation library allows talking and collaborative work in response to group-based approaches in different programs, as well as the need for many of our students to find themselves in a more relaxed environment. Libraries are now offering social learning environments to foster collaboration among students. Group-based work is contributing to skill and knowledge acquisition while simulating the conditions of a future work environment. Group work and its relation to competency-based learning approaches is certainly a reality to which libraries proactively responded by providing more group work spaces. In the New Webster Library at Concordia University, we translated social learning needs in areas with soft seating, some large tables at counter height, banquettes, and round tables. These types of seating arrangements allow group work to be performed without having to build a room with walls. In order to keep the noise level in the room reasonably low, the furniture has to be carefully chosen to create the conditions for group study with the highest degree of noise absorption possible. Obviously, electricity and Wi-Fi are paramount for each and every seat. In addition, mobile whiteboards are made available and can be moved wherever students require them. Ottomans and particular tables can be rearranged throughout the library by students themselves as needed. The group study room offers a large table with comfortable chairs, preferably with casters, a large screen with Wi-Fi or wired ports, and multiple power outlets. It is also nice to have a camera to make use of video conference software with student colleagues or even for job interviews. A large whiteboard or any other writing surface for brainstorming or solving equations is often used. Group study rooms can be booked using an online system. In addition, a screen at the door shows when the room has been booked and when it is available. We have observed a general increase in consultations between students and librarians in the last decade. These consultation rooms are booked by librarians for this purpose. With new tools, performing interfaces, and databases, students can often find most of what they need. When they do not, they consult with a librarian who will teach them the less obvious tricks and methods to obtain the information they need. A variation of the group study room is the presentation practice room. The objective is to offer a space to practice for a conference presentation. The student or group of students learn how to present behind a podium, use a remote to change the slides of a presentation, and rehearse before a presentation. A coaching service may be provided by library staff to help students prepare for what is, for some of them, a scary exercise. This type of room is equipped with a camera, a computer with appropriate software, a presentation setup consisting of a podium, in addition of the table, chair, screen, and writing surface of the standard group study room. This concept is known as the one-button room. You put your USB key in the USB port of the computer. You press a button, recording starts. You practice your presentation. You press the same button to stop recording, and the video is on your USB drive, ready for you to watch. Some of our students enjoy working individually in a lively atmosphere. It helps them to concentrate. These tables along the atrium allow them to feel like they are part of a group and focus on their work while being in the social learning environment. The student who likes to work at the cafe or the bistro is most likely to pick that spot. The standing desk responds to the need that was expressed regularly during consultations with students, benefiting from a more active posture, a relief for those who have back problems, or for its known benefits to improve cognitive function, blood flow, and blood volume in the brain. Stand-up desks are requested more and more by students. Graduate students have special library space needs. While some of them have a space in their thesis supervisor's lab, it is not the case for all of them. When the time comes to write their dissertation or thesis, the lab may not be the best location to focus on getting things done. I have also heard graduate students saying they would prefer working in the library without being approached by undergraduate students who have recognized them as their teaching assistants. In response, one enclosed reading room is only accessible to graduates. With the dissertation writers' rooms, we wanted to create good conditions for our graduate students to help them write their thesis or dissertations, which is often a crucial and difficult period for graduate students. They often feel isolated. Home or the lab are not necessarily the best writing environments. With these rooms, graduate students know they will be sitting next to other colleagues who have the same goal, writing a good 5 or 6 pages before going home. The rooms offer comfortable armchairs, large top surface tables with individual lights, electrical power and Wi-Fi, lockers that can be reserved for a semester-long period, and shelves that can be assigned for an academic year to graduate students who want to store library books for their research. Situated between the dissertation writers' rooms, a lounge area allows for informal conversations between students. In addition, a dedicated photocopier, scanner, and printer is available, as well as access to a kitchenette. Classrooms are another type of learning and study space offered by libraries. Either in lecture style or with the flexibility of multifunctional rooms for active learning activities, these spaces with all the required technologies are used by faculty members and librarians for teaching and learning activities. The technology sandbox is where students are made aware of and can explore new technology. It is where, among other things, they learn how to use 3D printers and how to create prototypes and small projects with microcontrollers like Arduino. Students and staff learn how to and produce videos as part of their regular academic work and service output. If the technology sandbox concept is inspired by the makerspace, it does not embrace any kind of subculture. The technology sandbox is open to all students from all programs to create and recreate knowledge with technology. It is a space where we propose that all students develop techniques and know-how in order to express themselves in the digital culture. It is not because they played with video games since their early childhood that they know how to use technology. The Visualization Studio is another distinctive learning environment that more and more libraries are offering. The Visualization Studio allows the projections and animation of still and moving images with or without sound in order to provide a greater understanding of questions. It is designed to foster learning through collaboration in a technology-rich environment. It allows students to see and interact with complex data and notice details that standard types of screens and projection capabilities would never reveal. The Seminar and Thesis Defense Room is a space to hold closed symposia, seminars, meetings, or lectures. It was designed with the important event of the thesis defense in mind. Surrounded by collections, the room has access to natural light and participants can see activities taking place in the library, like staff shelving books backed on the stacks or students studying. Furthermore, people walking around can see what is happening inside the room. For a thesis defense, members of the jury and members of the departments are sitting at the table while family, friends, and members of the community are sitting in the second row around the room. An external examiner can participate through video conference. Projection capability and all expected technologies are made available. A wonderful piece of art from the university's collection completes the ensemble. Immediately adjacent to the seminar room, the Friends of the Library Room has a dual space program. It can be used for a celebration, following a successful thesis defense, or for a book launch closing a symposium. When most of the time the space is not required for social events, it becomes a zero-noise room, and this is our 18th and last study environment presented. This is a room where keyboards are not allowed. The relation between the reader and the text is king in this room, either on a tablet or with a print book. Just like a space program or a collection development policy, a next-generation library needs a technology program. Rather than simply adding equipment in response to the latest trends, the technology program allows for the development and implementation of a coherent vision of what and how technology is offered to library users. In going through the 18 types of study environments, We already covered some aspects of the Webster Library Technology Program for the group study rooms, the consultation and presentation practice rooms, the multifunctional room, the visualization studio, and classrooms. 3 more questions are being developed with the technology program with the objective of offering meaningful ways to connect the physical space with the digital space. One specific question that obsesses me is how to make the digital collections visible in the library space. We use superb displays to promote print books in the library. I find the best ones are those inspired by good practices in bookstores. But what is the equivalent of the book display for digital collections? There are 3 examples to illustrate possibilities. The Digital Discovery Counter gives access to an interactive web-based software module that will present the library and its services in an attentive and focused manner, as well as showcasing pieces of our digital collection. Users will be able to navigate through different items selected by our librarians. Like in the case of our print collection, the Digital Discovery Counter will facilitate the experience of serendipitous discoveries. The display wall, which we can see at the Hunt Library of North Carolina State University, is another example of a curated interface. Here we see how students can be interested in reading front pages of newspapers from all around the world. The main staircase leading to the entrance of the library, like that of a concert hall or a museum, provides an important moment for the user's experience. As a transition point, it is where we prepare ourselves mentally as we climb the stairs to enter the library. Again, with the objective of featuring our collections, we will play audible excerpts of our digital collections in that space. Speakers will be integrated in the structure of the main staircase and linked to a playlist, allowing you to hear as you ascend the stairs an excerpt of one of Shakespeare's plays, an audiobook, a piece of electroacoustic music, or what have you. At the top of the stairs, a digital label will display the reference of the work being heard and where to find it in the collection. Another issue we would like to solve with the help of technology is the known problem of wayfinding in an academic library. We would like to implement a performing wayfinding system that will answer users' needs for dozens of directional questions they have. As we know, the library is a space of freedom of speech and intellectual inquiry, but also freedom of movement, with the possibility to find your way and what you are looking for quickly and easily. Where can I find a computer in the library? How many tablets are currently available for loan and where? Where can I find this book? These and many other questions will be answered digitally, both on library screens and mobile devices. One last element of the technology program I would like to mention before concluding is, like space, how technology can contribute to the expression of the community. The obvious is certainly the usage of social media platforms and open web-based suggestion boxes. Beyond social media, and while protecting personal information at all costs, technology can be used to make visible activities that are taking place in the library. At Concordia, we will do this through an open data program from which information on library activities will be displayed. Open data is the idea that some data should be made available freely to be used and republished in different contexts. Libraries are producing tons of data every year. Some are confidential, but most are not. The following scenarios exemplify how we can use technology to increase the visibility of activities that are taking place in the library. Louise, a new undergraduate student visiting the library for the first time, looks at the welcome screen at the library entrance and sees that she is the 7,456th person to pass the library gates on that day. She also reads that 54,899 books were borrowed since the beginning of the year and that 4,589 people are connected to the library's website at this moment. Finally, Pictograms and numbers inform her at a glance where and how many computers are available for her use in the library. A few more steps in the library, she notices an announcement for a thesis defense later in the afternoon to which she is invited as a member of the public. In less than 5 minutes, Louise was given the context of the community, numbers of visitors, borrowings, live connections, and information on availability of resources and activities offered to her. A library is more than its spaces. We did not have time to cover collections, print and digital, all types of interactions and teaching activities conducted by librarians and library staff, the extremely collaborative nature between libraries and colleagues from other institutions, developing solutions for shared storage of print collections, shared acquisition and negotiation of digital collections, or services like the development of a national network of research data management platform. With this presentation, I wanted to demonstrate how making decisions on the spaces, design, furniture, and technology of a library need to be connected first and foremost to users' needs. Public life in general and public spaces in particular have the capacity to transform isolation and self-interest into connectedness and a sense of belonging within our communities. Libraries are one of these public spaces. As illustrated by the case of the transformation of the Webster Library at Concordia University, the expression of community was taken into account in its design, space, and technology programs. One of the key words of the project is transparency. Glass walls are everywhere. The result is spaces bathed in natural light, windows offering a view from literally every seat from one of the 18 types of study environments. But moreover, we see each other. We are seen, we see others. We work together, side by side, solitary, or working together towards a common goal. We inspire each other. This space belongs to all of us. And it is not because we pay taxes or tuition fees. It is because we are part of the same community. The library has always been more than a collection of books. It provides a place for contemplation, integration, interaction, and the creation of new ideas and knowledge. A well-designed academic library can truly become a space that creates and reinforces our community, a space that is intellectually inspiring and contributes to the advancement and development of individuals and communities. The library is a welcoming, quiet refuge, but also a social gathering place for collaborative learning. The library is meaningful and contributes to the development of citizens and communities.